BACKFIRES is real money. And I know here at UCI, we have a National Fuel Center Research Center, and they're also doing work on how to make electric vehicles affordable, including for low and moderate income people, working moms, single moms like me, people who really could benefit from an extra $632 in their pocket. And it's also not just the individual savings, but it's also the total savings for our economy. So I'm on the oversight committee, you might know, and that is where we did a study recently this fall in September. And what it showed is if we don't electrify our transportation sector, that we're going to lose more than 500,000 Californians dying prematurely to air pollution and other problems. And the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually incorrect. It's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't meet the commitments under the Paris Climate Accord.
Okay, it does. Okay, you also were in my shot before that. Stay out of my shot. Okay, I'm going to start again with electric vehicles saving us money.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, man. Yeah, that is Democrat governor candidate of California, Katie Porter. And I played that clip for you guys before when that whole thing first released. Now, first off, I do want to apologize today if you guys are watching this upload at the time that I'm uploading it, on the day that I'm uploading it, then you probably know that this isn't the typical time that I upload. Had some technical difficulties. I apologize. Now, that to the side, let's hop into this clip from CNN because I found this quite interesting, watching Katie Porter bash other Democrats in a California governor's race where the top two candidates get to move on. And in a lot of polls, the top two candidates are the two Republicans. Some polls show, I believe his name is Becerra, a Democrat, just behind Steve Hilton. One of the Republicans. It's Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco are the two Republicans. But some polls show two Republicans at the top. And now she's bashing other Democrats. Quite interesting. Let's check it out.
Voting is already underway, and polls still have you hovering around 9 or 10% behind about 3 or 4 other candidates, including 2 of your fellow Democrats. What's your message to voters who are still undecided about you?
There's 3 weeks of voting left. A lot of people haven't even gotten their ballots yet, or they're just arriving here this week. And look, this question for California is, do we want somebody who spent their career working on making life more affordable for families? That was my background long before I got into politics. Working on credit card debt, families in bankruptcy, helping people who are facing foreclosure or eviction. And when I went to Congress, I stood up to special interests, took pharmaceutical executives to task, for example, for price gouging. The other candidates in this race are a billionaire and a 35-year, 37-year career politician who's funded by corporations. I'm the candidate here who knows what it's like to drive a minivan, to push a shopping cart, to worry that your kids are not going to be able to afford to move out and will wind up living on your couch. And that's a perspective that's going to drive my laser focus on affordability in a way that I just don't think a billionaire can.
Congresswoman, polls are showing support is growing for one of the candidates that you alluded to, the former Congressman, State Attorney General, and HHS Secretary Xavier Becerra. At CNN's debate earlier this month, some of your fellow competitors pushed him a little bit on the fact that his former chief of staff pleaded guilty to charges related to stealing money from Becerra's campaign account. Here's what he said.
If you violate the law, you will be prosecuted. No one is above the law. You will be held accountable. If I had been involved, the U.S. attorney would have had me in that indictment. I was not involved.
Is that sufficient?
It's not. Look, there is still an active investigation going on. 2 of the 3 people who were initially implicated are negotiating plea deals. And in those plea deals, they could name Secretary Becerra. I don't know if they will, but that is a risk. And so I don't want to see what happened with Eric Swalwell, what happened with Xavier Becerra. This race is too close, it's too chaotic, and there's no reason to take a risk. Look, the simple fact is Secretary Becerra cannot promise Californians that he will not be named as a co-conspirator in this corruption charge. It was his campaign account. He signed off on it. It was his 25-year chief of staff who was receiving the money via this scheme. There's just too much of a risk there for me, given the stakes of having the potential to have a Republican in charge of California. We have a top 2 primary. If we make the wrong choice here, there is no write-in process. You are stuck with the other top 2 candidate, which looks like it's going to be Republican Steve Hilton. So I do not think that is a risk Californians should be taking.
And just to be clear, he has said multiple times, including at CNN's debate, that he did nothing wrong. Are
you know, you know, a Democrat is spewing out a bunch of nonsense when even the Communist News Network is like, yeah, we can't co-sign that. We gonna have to issue a disclaimer here. Because how many times have you watched CNN allow a Democrat to come on and say a bunch of nonsense? Nonsense. I know it's nonsense. You know it's nonsense. But the host on CNN says absolutely nothing. Gives zero pushback. Zero. We've all watched it. And so now, you know that's a load of crap when Dana Bash, and Dana Bash is horrible, but you know it's bad when she was like, yeah, nah, we got to issue you a disclaimer, cuz. But also, here's the thing. Like, she's bashing another Democrat right now. Another Democrat. She's not going after the Republicans. She's bashing another Democrat where they've already got a loaded field, which is part of the issue on the Democrat side, which that also says a lot with these Democrats, that none of them wanted to be smart and just drop out. Like, just drop out of the race. If your goal is to have a Democrat win, why is there like 30 of you, not literally 30, but why is there like 30 of you in the race when there's only 2 Republicans? It's literally the top 2. So y'all about to split the crap out of the Democrat vote and allow 2 Republicans to just waltz on in to the governorship in California, which, hey, I would love it. I would love it, right? A Republican back running California. Hey, maybe we can visit California once again. You know, who knows? But I just find it hilarious to watch this happen.
you saying that you don't believe that that's true?
He said if someone has broken the law, they should be held accountable, which is a generic statement of truth that I would agree with. He has said at times that he didn't know about the money. He had no, quote, no vision into what was going on. And at other times, he's admitted that he signed the papers showing that $10,000 a month was going out for account maintenance. But he had another campaign account where he was paying $1,000 a month for maintenance. Why would you be paying 10 times more? It just raises a lot of questions. I do not have the facts here, but the people who are currently negotiating plea deals in Sacramento do. And if they implicate him, I have zero doubt that he will be indicted. So we just don't know where this is going. It's still an open issue. And I think at this point, this close to the end of the race with our top 2, with no possibility for a write-in, I think it's too big of a risk to take.
And to sort of make an analogy to Eric Swalwell, that's pretty explosive.
Well, look, a lot of the same people who endorsed and supported Eric Swalwell are now endorsing and supporting Xavier Becerra. And as you know, Donna, there were rumors about Eric Swalwell, and people discounted those rumors. There are rumors about what's going to happen.
I'm glad they're finally admitting it. Did y'all catch that? There were rumors about Eric Swalwell. And if you guys remember, if you want to go and you guys can go back to the video, I said this. I was like, they knew about Eric Swalwell. They all knew. You can't tell me that nobody knew who Eric Swalwell really was behind closed doors when the cameras were off. Every single one of them Democrats knew, and she just admitted it. She just admitted it. Okay? And so to be sitting up here acting like you're holier than thou, when you literally just admitted that you knew about who Eric Swalwell was and you said absolutely nothing, says a lot. Says a whole lot.
Happen in this plea deal and how it's going to unfold, what's going to happen in this ongoing corruption investigation. And I don't think that's a risk worth taking. The conduct, the allegations, the risk, completely different. Eric Swalwell was a sexual predator, full stop. Very, very different conduct. But look, the stakes here are about whether Californians should risk having a Republican governor. And for me, the answer is unequivocally no. And the plain truth is Secretary Becerra cannot and has not guaranteed or promised the people of California that he will not be named as a co-conspirator and indicted. And if he is, and the top two include him and Steve Hilton, we would wind up with a Republican governor. And that, as a mom, as a Democrat, as a woman, is just devastating for Californians. It's not a risk worth taking.
There are other Democrats, of course, in this race and doing relatively well, including Tom Steyer. He just did an interview with Pod Save America where he said he was the only candidate who could stand up to corporate interests. He was asked specifically, well, what about Katie Porter? This is what he said.
She's hostile to special interests, but she doesn't have your money to get ads up, right? That's a real thing.
So the question is, can someone win and do this? That is the actual question, John. Not can someone be good-hearted. There are lots of good-hearted people who I would be happy if they won. The question is, can someone actually do this?
What's your response to him?
Well, given that Tom Steyer is the person who leaked the video with me and the staffer from 5 years ago, he pretty clearly didn't think that he pretty clearly wanted to be governor bad enough to knock me down to do it. And I've apologized for that video many times. Because I am confident that is the case. I've been told by many people it's a Department of Energy video. It was only held by the Department of Energy, and people can follow the trail to who his campaign staffers are and understand what happened there. And the truth is, look, Tom Steyer.
No accountability. No accountability. I mean, she slipped a little bit. She was like, yeah, I apologize for it, but he exposed it. And the fact that you were willing to do that on camera, knowing that you're a public figure, says a lot. Once again, it says a lot. Like, it's one thing if you go try to do it behind closed doors, but like, you did that on camera, knowing other people are watching. Like, come on now. Really? Really? Man. But, I mean, you see it here. I mean, this woman is literally, she's basically, she's like Marjorie Taylor Greene right now. And I'm going to be talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene tomorrow, but she's like Marjorie Taylor Greene. She wants to burn the whole house down if she can't have the house herself. That's literally what she's doing right now. Right? Oh, if I can't have the governorship, I'm going to make sure that no Democrat can. I'm going to burn all y'all down. Not literally, right? I'm talking about just their campaigns, just for anybody who tries to twist my words. I mean, that's literally what she's doing.
Steyer is a corporate special interest. He's made his billions off being beholden to corporations, making money off fossil fuel, oil, coal. He is, even in this race, taking corporate contributions. Even in this race, I am the only candidate who is not. So Tom Steyer is in this race for the same reason he was in the presidential. He's now spent $500 million trying to get elected. I have no problem with competition. If Tom Steyer wants to run, he should run. But to suggest that somehow he's in this because there's nobody else who will stand up to corporate special interests, or that he's not in this for his own ego, I think everybody who's seen his face plastered over TV for 6 months knows that's probably not the case.
Congresswoman, thank you for coming on. I should note that we don't have evidence that Steyer leaked that video of you. If you have it, please bring it. And also, you said some pretty tough stuff about Xavier Becerra. If he wants to come back on the show, he is more than welcome to do that as well.
So basically, just try to destroy the two top Democrat guys in the polls that are ahead of her. If I remember correctly, in some of the latest polls, she kind of fell off the face of the earth on these polls, because if you guys remember, Back before all of this stuff went public about who she really is, she was like the top vote getter, or the top in all the polls, not the vote getter. She was the top in all the polls. And then the story broke, and then Eric Swalwell moved to the top. And then, of course, the thing with Eric Swalwell, became public that she admitted she knew about, and she's fallen even further since. And so now she's in a situation where, hey, if she can't have the house, she gonna burn it down. So nobody gets it. And that's what you see there. Xavier Becerra, who is, in some polls, like I said, the number 2 right behind the Republican Steve Hilton. No, he can't possibly win. He's going to be indicted soon. Well, doesn't that give voters a cause to pause? So now you're telling some voters not to vote for him, which could possibly drop him down even further in the polls, which could then lead to Chad Bianco being bumped up in the polls, because they aren't going to vote for Katie Porter. The polls have already shown that Katie Porter is basically cooked. Her campaign is done. And now you're telling them not to go for Steyer either, because this is just atypical of the Democrat Party, of a Democrat. Atypical, full of themselves. And if they can't have it, they're taking their ball and going home. Typical of a Democrat. Typical, so nobody gets to play. But hey, have at it. California can become California once again with a Republican at the helm, and that'll be beautiful to see, because before anybody starts twisting things, oh, Rich, so you rooting for the Democrats? No, I just found this quite hilarious to watch. To watch them bicker and go back and forth amongst themselves is absolutely hilarious when you got 2 Republicans leading in some of the polls. You would think they would do the smart thing and nah, I'm gonna bow out and I'm gonna push this Democrat up a little further, because we don't want these Republicans winning, but they can't even do that amongst themselves, which shows the dysfunction of the Democrat Party, the dysfunction that they ultimately tried to hide in DC, like what I'm talking about when I mentioned Chuck Schumer and AOC. Everybody knows there's a clash between the two, because AOC ultimately wants to run for Senate, but of course Chuck Schumer is in the Senate, and so she would have to take his seat, and Chuck Schumer ain't very popular right now, so if she did run, she'd probably beat him. Now, of course, nobody's going to say anything publicly out of those two, but everybody knows behind closed doors what's actually happening. So it's just one of those things where you get to get a glimpse of what the Democrat Party and how the Democrat Party really operates behind closed doors, because you typically don't see this. They're usually pretty good at trying to hide things, which is one of the things that I'm a little jealous of with the Democrat Party. They typically try to keep it behind closed doors, but with this, it's all out on Front Street for us to see. But y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Stay safe. Peace and love. I'm out.